simple here. So yeah, let's just test this map. I'm gonna go into the game now, and we'll see how it looks. Alright, I just noticed a few more bugs that we have to iron out before we can start the game, so I'm not gonna start the game. The first thing I did actually was just go into the loading screen here and check the wait for key, so that the map pauses and waits for a key press. What I did notice is that in my spawn next wave trigger, I forgot here to set this to the player ID, and I forgot here to set it to the player ID, so my unit spawner was actually not doing anything. I also, in the spawn unit, I forgot to actually wait and make a delay. I just remembered, so we're gonna do that now. Sorry again, as I said, I have a cold. Alright, we're gonna wait for the spawn delay, variable, current wave, for the player, and temp unit. Alright, so then it will wait the appropriate amount of time before spawning the next mob. The last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate of this, and I'm gonna make a level in progress. It's gonna be a boolean, and actually we're gonna make this spawning in progress, and since we have up to 5 spawners, we'll put it to 5, and it's gonna be false. And then at the start of a spawner, we're going to set variable. You'll see why in a moment. Spawning in progress for our player, and variable temp unit. You're gonna have to put it, not temp unit, sorry, my bad. The unit number, it's a parameter, unit number, equals true. And then after all the spawning is done, we're gonna set it back to false. The reason I do this, you will see in just a second, is so I can, in my start next level here, I can check if a level is in progress. It might be that this trigger will run before any unit has been spawned, or maybe the player kills off the units so fast, but there are still units to be spawned, and we don't want this to be starting if that happens. So we're just gonna add a is level in progress, player ID turns true if a level, if units are still being spawned for the player. Alright, and here we're gonna need a variable, level in progress. It's gonna be a boolean. It's gonna be false, and we're just gonna do for each integer. Actually, we don't need this. We're gonna need a temp spawner ID. Works fine. For each temp spawner ID from 1 to, and since we use the same amount of spawners as we have max units per wave, we just loop to max units per wave. And then we do a if then else here. If we do a variable spawning in progress is true for, this is the player ID, and spawner ID. If this equals true, then we return true. And we have to set this to return a boolean. Here we go. And if it doesn't return in there, we're just going to return false because then the level is not in progress. There we go. Yeah, so the reason I did this is so I can go in here and add another condition. Is level in progress for our player, which I'm just going to set by value in this example, 1 equals false. This way it will check that there's no level currently in progress and that there are no units alive. This means that the level has ended. The player has killed all the units and the level is over. Now we could add a wait command here, and before you spawn next wave or do whatever, but I'm just going to start the next wave once all the units are dead. Alright. Hopefully that was understandable what I just did now. Here it's set to true and then I set to false for this spawner when the spawner is started and stopped. So let's save this and head on into the game, and hopefully we're ready to test this now. Alright, so here I loaded up the game. I had to make a few more changes because there are a couple of bugs. Actually, some things I didn't actually know about, but no matter. Let's see how it works. Here you can see the 50 circlings and our zealots spawning. 5 zealots and 50 circlings. And they die when they come to the end. And once the last one dies, the next wave should start almost instantly. Our Colossi and Marines. And you'll see this unit spawner is working quite well. I might need to... yeah, it seems to have a bug with the finishing. It's not working properly. So we're going to go back into the editor and fix that, and then we're going to add behavior modification. So let's go back into the editor. Alright, here we're back in the editor. And you'll see that the first thing I've done, one of my bugs, was I forgot this skip remaining actions trigger inside the add unit to wave. What ended up happening was that it came in here when I added the circling as my first unit in init waves here, the circling. It would come in here and it would fill each of these 5 unit slots that we created with circling data. So with the skip remaining actions, it's going to go find the first free one, and once it's filled it's just going to go out of the trigger so that we don't fill the other ones. The second bug I had was inside the spawn unit in wave trigger. I used to have the wait and just pull the wait time directly out of the array here. That did actually not work. It ended up just causing bugs, and it suddenly waited for 3-4 seconds and then it just spawned everything at once and it crashed the trigger and everything. So I put a local variable here, spawn delay, and I just stuck the delay directly from the array in there into the local variable, and then I just wait for the spawn delay here. And once I did that, it started working. So those are the 2 changes, the 2 final bugs that I had to iron out to get it to work. Alright, so now what we have to fill is this wave modification here. We set it up to be 1 modification per unit. So we're just going to copy up this add unit to wave, and we're going to add modification to wave unit. Alright, so I'm going to have add another variable here, another temp variable, temp last created unit. And then in the add unit to wave, I'm just going to set this variable. You will see why in a moment. Last created unit should be equal to temped, the one that we're looping through here. And now I'm going to make a function. Get last created unit number. And it's simply going to return last created unit, and returns the number of the